BRP iRacing Series invades the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville Raceway, for 60 laps tonight. This is your track walk. We'll start on the top side of the speedway. This is where the big blocks are going to thunder around to keep momentum up and get advantages down the front straightaway. But as the night goes on, the track will go further and further up to the high side, and then we will have to migrate to the bottom to keep the speed up and stay in front. Going into the inside of the racetrack, you got to watch that berm on the bottom. There's just going to be a little sliver of grip down there throughout the night, and it will get smaller and smaller as time goes on. Drivers might start venturing onto the berm itself to try to get a little extra grip. Just got to be careful they don't upset the balance of their car. And that is the track walk around Knoxville Raceway. Get us a little closer to the checkered flag without having opportunities to race for it. But Gavin Isley has taken the race back over, and 4 laps to go at the line here. It's going to be Plank to the top, trying to get some momentum. Isley's going to hold the line in 3 and 4. Will Isley get the charge off the middle, or is Plank going to get some momentum? He's definitely got momentum.
Great move from Plank. He crosses over to the bottom side. That might not work as well as it was thought out for Plank, though. He's going to drive even into 3 and 4. Isley trying to pinch him down low, and Brandon Plank and Miller right there as well. 3 cars going at it for the lead.
They are going to come around to the 2-lap-to-go signal. Isley and Plank are side by side. It's giving Miller an opportunity to get close. The 2-lap-to-go, the white flag signal rather, comes out for him. Isley and Plank side by side. Miller going to look to the middle, maybe. Isley going to try to get a little extra momentum. Plank to the bottom. He dives in. Will he dive up across? Isley tries to power around the outside and to the line. Brendan Plank by a nose is going to take race 3.
The heartland of the United States is a serene home to farming, manufacturing, natural resources, and racing. One of the most important and influential dirt tracks of them all sits in the middle of a small farming town, which we travel to virtually tonight to bring you Race 4 of the BRP iRacing Series Season 7 live on BRPtv. Built in 1878 as a horse racing track, Knoxville hosts our showdown this week after we visited I-55 and saw Brandon Plank make it 3 in a row for feature wins. The heats and qualifying points keep Gavin Isley in the championship lead by a single point, and I am certain that he and the rest of the grid want nothing more to take one of those checkered flags from Brandon Plank, who has been nothing but dominant to start the season so far. Jonathan Howe in the booth, flying a little bit solo tonight as my normal partner Joe Donahue is under the weather, but standing by to produce this show and help me out with any stats and making sure this broadcast runs smooth for you as practice is winding down from Knoxville with Josh Mbesky at the front of the field. And I'm sure what most people didn't want to see, Brandon Plank at the top of the field as well in second, and Joe Matthews bringing it home with the third fastest time in the little pre-race practice that we had. Looking forward to this one. It's a little bit weird watching modifieds at Knoxville. I have to admit, it just doesn't quite look real to me, but at the same time, there's a lot of racing room on this racetrack, a lot of room for passing, a lot of room for action, and pretty much the entire field in a big block tonight. So I'm expecting a pretty high level of competition from these drivers tonight. Getting ready to go in qualifying. We'll start to see some drivers pull out. We've got our eyes on Dylan Davidson, Double D out in the 73 Costco haulage machine tonight. Looking to lay down a fast time. Davidson has been pretty good. I think a driver that definitely has top 5 speed and could be a factor in one of these races, but either has found himself having to fall back through the field after a little bit of contact, or maybe falling back after a little bit of chaos in front of him, and hasn't been able to quite put together the run that maybe Double D would like to. But I got some faith in Davidson tonight. Going to be a car to watch. We'll see what his time comes in at as he crosses the line. First guy in, and not bad, but already starting to fall down the bracket. As you can see, Meitzler go to the top of the grid. Zach Bardsley also with a great time there. Meitzler, though, now beaten by Josh Mbesky. Not a surprise if you saw a little bit of practice. Josh Mbesky was the fastest car in practice tonight, and looking to keep it that way at the front of this field, as most of the field now taking a lap. Josh Mbesky, Meitzler, and Ryan Beagle, who has had, just like his actual driving days, he's kind of had a little bit of a quiet, sneaky start, very consistent, always kind of hanging around at the end of these races, and in practice, he brings it home third fastest. And how about the pistol, Jamie Porter up to fourth with a 19.221, now just beaten by Cody Higbee, who we can see on screen right now in the 97 ride. Porter's going to fall back to fifth. Pretty even field, though. Besides Josh Mbesky and Meitzler, the only ones who have gone sub 19.2, but everybody else in the 19.2s on back to about 15th place, where you'll find Travis Miller, the Thriller. Travis Miller going to want to look for a little bit more time. Had a pretty competitive run last week. Had a competitive run 2 weeks before that, before caught up in some incidents. So Miller, while he's still high in the power rankings for this BRPtv iRacing League, not as high in the point standings as he might want to be. As you can see, qualifying beginning to wrap up now. A couple cars left out on the racetrack. Here's the Beef making his time. Josh Mbesky still leads the way over Meitzler. Higbee, Plank, breaks into the top 5 with a 19.207, and that knocks Ryan Beagle down to 5th, and Jamie Porter out of the top 5 now, but still a great showing from the 45. Getting ready to go with heat number 1. Got to give a huge shout out to MDR Designs for all the work they put in on designing some of these race cars. Josh Mbesky is going to lead them alongside Plank. Bardsley, Brian Berger, Jeff Sharp, Adam Hilton, Travis Cunningham, and Dan Sider. That is how we are going to roll off 8 cars deep in heat number 1. Got to thank a couple more sponsors here. We wait these cars going green. JM Performance, if you know, you know. How about Creative Tunings? We appreciate them coming on board this season. Based out of Waterford, Connecticut, Creative Tunings offers wood and acrylic household items such as pens, bowls, candlesticks, charcuterie boards, and much more. Custom homemade products, great for gift giving and home decor. Head over to their Facebook site to learn more. And of course, in this one, we're going to see my co-host on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast, Travis Cunningham. Starting a little bit further back in this one, but we had a great podcast this past week. If you haven't followed us yet, at @sods_pod, SODS_POD. That's where you're going to find us on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can just follow the show, Southern Ontario Dirt Show, on Facebook and wherever you get your podcast. Great guest this week. We had James Friesen, a name that most in the Niagara region and Southern Ontario and even Western New York are pretty familiar with. James Friesen's told some great stories, including that legendary trip to the mile and a little bit of a controversial ending for Friesen. And of course, lots of family legacy, so mentions of Curtis and Stuart and his grandparents as well. It was great having him on. Field getting ready to roll. They were waiting on Dan Sider. Not sure if he's going to make the call for this one or not. Josh Imbowski lets him roll off behind him. Josh Imbowski so fast, and his reward for being so fast is he got to line up alongside Brandon Plank, who has kind of struggled in qualifying. He's not had the start to the year in qualifying, and that's probably the only reason that we don't see Brandon Plank at the top of the points in this series. However, starting up on the outside of row number 1 is going to do him a lot of favors, trying to make his way to the top of the standings. Only 1 point behind Gavin Isley. What does Josh Imbowski, who has been the fastest car so far from what we've seen throughout this night, what does he have to hold off Plank, Bardsley, as the field is getting ready to come to green behind them? Going to be an 8-lap heat for these 7 drivers as we get ready to go around Knoxville for 60 laps in the feature a little later on. Let's start the starting lineup now. Josh Imbowski, Plank, your front row, getting ready to fire off at a corner number 4. And we are back to green. Look at the great mind games from Josh Imbowski. Brings him in real slow, fires it, and he is going to look to clear to the lead. And look at Bardsley, follow him on the low side. Looks like the low line is going to prevail for Bardsley as Plank tries to fight back on the outside now through 3 and 4. At a corner number 4, Josh Imbowski going to lead lap 1 while Bardsley and Plank do battle for second. Then we got a great 3-car battle. Hilton almost thought about shooting the gap between Berger. Couldn't make it happen. 2 by 2. Everybody chasing Josh Imbowski early in this one. It's Josh Imbowski. Bardsley's going to hang on to second for now, but Plank has not let him clear just yet. And then these 3 cars all over the top 2 now as we got a battle almost 3 wide down the back straightaway. Hilton was looking for a little bit of daylight, not able to find it under Sharp. Bardsley now on the outside. Plank has crossed him over, and he's on the inside as they work through the corner. Brandon Plank back to P2. Here comes Bardsley on the inside. Josh Imbowski continues to lead. Plank. Ooh, that might have got... Oh, contact indeed! There goes Brandon Plank around, and that takes out a whole bunch of cars in this field. Wow, what an incident. I thought those guys were racing real close, and then sure enough, Brandon Plank, he's going to go over on his side. The green flag still, and there is the yellow flag now. So a tough break for Brandon Plank, who actually gets great track position in a heat. But after contact with Zach Bardsley, and that kind of looked like just a racing deal. I'm not sure if Plank knew that he wasn't clear or if Bardsley just sailed it in a little bit higher or a little bit deeper than was expected. And that's definitely shaking up the field behind Josh Mbesky. So it's Josh Mbesky up front, then Sharp and Hilton up to third now, I believe, as we wait for the scoring to cycle through. Yep, it'll be Hilton. And then my man Travis Cunningham up to P4. Sometimes the best way to survive a wreck is to just simply do that. Avoid, slam on the brakes, keep the car as clean as possible, and you never know who falls out of the race because of it. So lights are out on the iRacing pace truck. Oh, excuse me. Nope, they're back on. Just waiting on confirmation of when this restart is going to come. But Josh Mbesky, the fastest race car, the driver that he had to worry about most in this heat, out now. Josh Mbesky, Jeff Sharp, Adam Hilton. That is your top three as they're starting to line up now, double file. Something I love about Knoxville is watching the sprint cars right up against the boards. I don't think we're going to see the modifieds up there that high tonight, but you never know. Getting ready to come to green. Josh Mbesky, Jeff Sharp, Hilton. Green flag in the air. Josh Mbesky with another great restart. A little less of a mind game on that one. I thought that was a bit more of an even start, fair start, if you will. And into the corner here, you can see Josh Mbesky just so smooth. Like, you can see the speed of this 88 car. It is really impressive tonight. Tyler Josh Mbesky doing great work. Jeff Sharp settles into second. Hilton trying to make the move on the inside in that 3 car in third. Not able to pull alongside the 28 as the white flag lap rolls on out of the final corner. It's going to be Tyler Josh Mbesky getting it done over Jeff Sharp, Adam Hilton. And Brian Berger is going to bring it home fourth. And Bardsley gets back up inside the top 5 as Travis Cunningham drops to 6th. And Sider did make it in the end, and he will bring it home 7th. Getting ready to roll in heat number 2 now. Dean Meitzler going to be on the pole for this one alongside the big dog Ryan Beagle. Joe Matthews lines up 3rd. Gavin Isley 4th. Matt DeRitter in 5th. Liam Daniels 6th. And Dave DePetro will line up 7th. The new dad, Dave DePetro, also running a small block. I believe going to be the only driver in the field with the small block tonight. We'll get the confirmation on that. But the 68 car maybe a little bit underpowered. And we'll see what the driver can do to make up for that throughout the night. And talk about a heavy hitter heat race. Ryan Beagle up high in the standings. Joe Matthews has been fast this year. Obviously the point standings, but we can even look at the power rankings, and you'll see Ryan Beagle up in the 3rd spot in the power ranking this past week. Really like what I've seen from Beagle. Really like what I've seen from Matthews as well. And obviously, Gavin Isley, 2nd in power rankings, 1st in points. And if anybody is going to have anything for Brandon Plank, Gavin Isley wants to be the guy to take that win streak away. But Dean Meitzler, pretty fast in practice and in qualifying tonight as well. And the 49 is going to lead him to green. Big thank you again to Dig Racing Products as well. Thanks for coming on board and supporting this season of the BRPtv iRacing series as we get ready to go green in heat number 2 from Knoxville. Nice even start. Beagle up on the high side, trying to keep even with Meitzler through the corner. Looks like Meitzler had to maybe lift a little bit, and that's going to allow Beagle to stay even down the back straightaway while Matthews and Isley are side by side. The 49 sails it in on the inside, will clear Beagle and take the lead up off of corner number 4. Matthews trying to make the move to third and maybe even to second using that low line. Isley looking to make it 3 wide off the corner. No room in the middle, though. He'll settle back into line behind Beagle. Into 3 and 4. Meitzler, Beagle. Matthews noses ahead of Isley. DeRitter lurking there in 5th position, while Liam Daniels runs in 6th behind DeRitter. Top 5 cars pretty much under a blanket here at Knoxville. Beagle having a look to the inside of Meitzler. Nothing doing downstairs. Down the front stretch, Meitzler actually opens up about a car length advantage over the big dog Ryan Beagle. Beagle trying to stretch it out from that 3rd place battle, which is still raging on. Matthews on the low side. Isley upstairs in the 18 machine. Good onboard here from Gavin Isley. You can see him working down low. He's going to clear. And now we'll set his sights on the big dog, Ryan Beagle. And you get a sense of how wide this racetrack really is at Knoxville. Don't really see the modifieds there. It's not something I've watched a lot of modifieds at Knoxville. But man, do they look cool tonight here in the virtual world. Single file at the front. Everybody chasing Dean Meitzler. It's Meitzler, Beagle, Isley, Matthews under fire from DeRitter for 4th position as we're coming to 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Isley working over the big dog, Ryan Beagle, who's still in line with Meitzler. Hasn't really been able to make the move for the lead yet, but a nice second place finish in a heat. That's good positioning for a 60-lap feature tonight. Isley trying to work past Beagle, and he noses ahead. Good battle there for second. 1 lap to go. Meitzler still in control of this one. Meitzler, Isley, Beagle, and Matthews. Look at Isley sail it in. Gavin Isley going for the lead out of the final corner. He might get there too. Not quite. It's going to be Dean Meitzler. Gavin Isley brings it home second with a great run through 3 and 4. The big dog Ryan Beagle will settle for 3rd. Good run there in heat number 2. Really, really liking what I'm seeing from this racetrack. It's not going to be super easy to pass. These drivers are going to have to work for it. But when we add a full field of race cars all running together, we get to really see the full width of this racetrack as we get ready for heat number 3. Cody Higbee going to lead him to green. Alongside the pistol, Jamie Porter. Dean Reynolds will line up 3rd. Dylan Davidson in the 73, 4th. Travis Miller, the Thriller, in 5th. Then it's Pat Reiser in the 33. He's running his throwback, though. You'll see him as number 8 out on the racetrack. And the beef, Corby Daniels, brings it home, or lines it up in 7th for heat number 3. Want to take a moment here to thank Super Dirt Car Series. The ground-pounding, earth-rattling beasts of the Northeast are the premier touring and modified racing series in North America, a series that many of the drivers you see tonight are involved in regularly. Head to superdirtcarseries.com to check out the dates and venues of when you can experience the thrill of the Super Dirt Car Series. And of course, series director Dean Reynolds lining up 3rd in this one in the 79. Jamie Porter is a driver that I don't want to say I expected more from this year. I think the guy has had a quiet confidence about him, maybe shared a little bit of a bit of a modest attitude throughout the year. But starting up on the front row in this one, he could be a driver that we see really make some noise tonight if he can keep it clean. That is always the importance. Come feature time in this one is to keep it clean, keep it green. And we're green on the racetrack in heat number 3 from Knoxville. Higbee on the low side, trying to clear to the lead, not able to do so. Porter's going to hang tough on the outside. Look at Porter nose ahead down the back straightaway as we get a great camera angle there. The cars whizzing by from the ground there. And look at the pistol. Jamie Porter going to go to the lead on lap 1 using that outside line. Successful, and here comes Double D. Dylan Davidson trying to find a way around Cody Higbee for second. Higbee down low, still committed to the bottom side. He's going to fight back. He'll probably clear Davidson, but not able to get alongside Porter, who's going to continue to lead this one. It's Porter, Higbee, Davidson, Reynolds. Starting to see breaking into the top 5 is Travis Miller now, working his way through the field. Miller starting a little bit deep. Not sure if this is a confidence issue. Maybe he just doesn't quite have a feel for the car early in single lap speed, but we haven't seen the speed that we have seen all season long from Miller. But now that we're in the racing, you can see that car starting to come to life, that driver coming to life here as we got the good battle for second. Davidson down low, Higbee down low, Davidson on the outside. Higbee almost jumping the inside cushion a little bit that time through 3 and 4. We go on board with Double D. Davidson up on the high side. Alongside there, going to try to clear to second position. Not able to do so yet as Higbee fights back on the inside once again. It's Higbee. Still to the inside, Davidson on the outside in the 73. Everybody chasing Jamie Porter. Porter doing a great job holding these guys off. Coming to 2 laps to go in this one. Good side-by-side racing from second on back. Dean Reynolds and Travis Miller mixing it up. Jamie Porter out front in the 45, the pistol. Good stuff from him as he continues to pace this field. Davidson looks pretty strong on the outside, and so does Reynolds, but Higbee doing a great job hanging tough on the inside. That is going to be a wheel-to-wheel battle to the stripe. Working the final lap in heat number 3 tonight from Knoxville. Jamie Porter leads. Higbee with a big move on the inside. Can he keep the power down up off the corner? Side by side, wheel to wheel for second. Porter gets it, and Davidson's going to grab second over Cody Higbee. Good race there amongst the top 3, especially for that battle for second. Great heat action, and we are going to be getting ready for feature time shortly here. Driver's going to do a bit of a warm-up here, so we'll take a minute to step away from the action just a little bit here and come back with a couple minutes left in the warm-up session. See who's fastest and see who might have an advantage in the feature that we weren't quite expecting. Coming back now on BRP TV with warm-up, Brandon Plank. Tough break for Brandon Plank. Involved in an incident in his heat, and that actually has now created a 4-point gap at the top of the standings. The guy's won all 3 features, but needs to have some better luck in his heats and qualifying to keep up with Gavin Isley. Plank, though, looking fast tonight, no surprise. Matthews up there, Josh Mbowski up inside the top 3 as well. I want to take an opportunity to thank one of our sponsors, Russ King Racing in Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. They are a supplier of Integra and VP fuels. They assemble race cars for drivers and teams. Hit up Russ King Racing on Facebook for more info on them. Big shout out to 47 Technology as well. And of course, BRP TV, bringing you live coverage of the BRP iRacing series. We are proud to provide coverage for all the partners, drivers, fans of this Edge of Seat racing series. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to enable notifications for when we go live. You keep up with us on Facebook, and of course that's the best place to keep up with in-season rankings, power rankings, and all the stats and statistics, and some great pictures as well from Matt DeRitter and MDR. Thanks to them again for all they do for our racing and making the product look so good. Big thank you to Joe Donahue, who a bit of a silent partner tonight for me, but doing his behind-the-scenes production work that he does each and every week and does so well for BRP TV. I'm honestly just a voice, and it feels I feel pretty lucky that I get to work with some awesome people on this project as we're getting ready for feature time now. I don't know what to expect. Knoxville, there's some width to this racetrack. There's a bunch of unexplored territory up on the high side that you can see race cars have not affected. Let's take a look at how they're going to line up in this one. Tyler Joshembowski on pole alongside Dean Meitzler. Then it's Jamie Porter, the pistol in the 45. Jeff Sharp lines up 4th. Gavin Isley 5th. Dylan Davidson in 6th in the 73. And that's Adam Hilton lining up 7th. Alongside him will be Ryan Beagle in the 84. Cody Higbee lines up 9th in the 97. And on the outside, a row number 5, it's Brian Berger in the 60, starting 10th. Joe Matthews is going to line up 11th in the 9 car. Then it's Dean Reynolds in 12th. On the inside of row number 7, Zach Bardsley in the 11. Then it's Matt DeRitter in the 03, starting 14th. Starting 15th, the thriller, Travis Miller in the 22, alongside another Travis in the field. Travis Cunningham in the 90 will line up 16th. Starting 17th, it's Liam Daniels in the 71. He'll be alongside Pat Reiser in the 33. 33 scored, but number 8 running the throwback scheme tonight is Pat Reiser, starting 18th. 19th will be Dan Sider, and new dad Dave DiPietro lines up 20th in the 68 machine. Congrats to Dave and his family. And Corby Daniels, the Beef, he's going to line up 21st. Brandon Plank, after being involved in that incident, he's going to have to come from the tail of the field if he wants to keep that win streak alive. Getting ready to go green for 60 laps in Knoxville. Who will stop the streak? Or can Brandon Plank pull off a miracle and drive from last to first in 60 laps to take his 4th win of the year? Green flag is up, pedals are down, and Josh Mbowski, great jump to the front of the field. Look at the pistol. Jamie Porter trying to keep up alongside. Good racing throughout this field. Got our eyes on the battle as Joe Matthews, he's working his way through the field on the low side. How much will this racetrack widen out for these modifieds? Remember, pretty much everybody except Dirty Dave in a big block tonight. Up on the high side, up on the low side. Good battles, including one for the lead. Jamie Porter looking to the inside in that 45 car. Can he find a way around Josh Mbowski, who has been the fastest man on the track pretty much all night long? Side by side, into the corner. Slide job incoming. Here comes Porter to the lead. Josh Mbowski goes for the crossover down the back straightaway. Side by side once again. We got an incident a little further back in the field, and that is going to bring out the yellow. Believe it's going to be Bardsley and maybe Dylan Davidson involved as we await the replay of this one. Good racing at the front, tight racing at the back, leads to a caution. And let's see if we can get an eye on what happens here. You can see Davidson in the middle of the racetrack here. He's got Hilton underneath him, and it looks like Hilton's just going to slide up, touch the rear tire, and Davidson goes around. And, oh, nowhere to go for, I believe that is that Yeah, Joe Matthews, another fast car. Zach Bardsley's going to get a piece of it. And Dan Sider almost tips over the 73. So 4 cars involved in that one after Hilton and Davidson come together. Tough break for a couple of fast cars as well. Dylan Davidson looked pretty good in his heat. Bardsley as well looked pretty good. Up at the front, Jamie Porter's going to be the leader on this restart. "60 laps tonight, but caution laps are counting in this one." Jamie Porter, Josh Imbowski, that's going to be the front row as we get ready to go back racing. Meitzler. Really enjoyed what I've seen from Dean Meitzler pretty much all season long. He's another one that I think there's going to be not necessarily a surprise winner, but maybe somebody who we haven't seen on a podium just yet. Maybe somebody we haven't seen lead a lot of laps who could be up in the mix tonight, especially with Brandon Plank starting towards the back. However, cautions are going to be Brandon Plank's friend. The more incidents that happen in front of him, and hopefully ones that he can avoid, will play right into him making his way up through this field, which is exactly, or not exactly, what anybody would want to see besides Brandon Plank. Everybody else in the field, they want that guy stuck in as much traffic as possible. As we see the truck pulling in this time, Porter gonna hit it as soon as he sees that green flag. Jamie Porter fires off, and now Meitzler making a challenge for second as that gets awfully close between the 88 of Josh Imbowski and Meitzler, and that actually cost Meitzler a little bit as here comes Gavin Isley around the outside. He's up to third now, and following suit on the outside, that is the 3 of Hilton. Hilton, the car that got into Dylan Davidson, is now Meitzler, almost getting a little bit of a piece, or a little bit of help there from Jeff Sharp, who was coming with a head of steam on the low side. Higby 3 wide there now with Meitzler and Sharp on the low side. Good 3 wide battle just outside the top 5. Ryan Beagle, the big dog, working over him. Joe Matthews. Up at the front, Josh Imbowski. Josh Imbowski trying to make a move on Porter for the lead. Good ride there on the low side. And Gavin Isley, no surprise, he's going to go around the outside as it looks like caution is out on the racetrack in this one. As we work lap 9 of 60, we'll see what the incident is here. Trying to get eyes on what brought that yellow out. Not 100% sure. Looks like all cars are present and accounted for. We'll see if maybe it's the beef, or maybe Zach Bardsley. Somebody at the back of this pack may have been involved. I almost wonder if maybe they're calling back the restart, because Jamie Porter, you know, there could be an issue with the restart, because I thought Jamie Porter almost jumped that one, and I almost wonder if maybe somebody spent a couple of laps protesting to race directors, and maybe after taking a vote with some of the other drivers, maybe that was what the issue was. The caution was for. But again, I haven't been able to track down a replay of what exactly happened. We'll try to get some clarification on that if we can. Otherwise, we're going to line them up 2 by 2 and try again. Porter still out front. Then it's Isley, Josh Imbowski, Hilton, Higby. That's your top 5 as they run. And see Gavin Isley testing it out in some of the untouched dirt up towards the boards. I'm sure there's other racetracks. There's probably plenty of racetracks that use such high guardrails, but I think that's every time I see a guardrail system like that, I just think of Knoxville. It's something that is unique to sprint car racing and the nationals and everything that makes Knoxville special. It is really part of the whole package here. Is Porter and Isley getting ready to go green again? And again, Porter is on these restarts. There is no gamesmanship from Porter. As soon as he sees green, he goes. Isley gets the chance to cross over, though, through 1 and 2, and now down the back straightaway has the inside line. Can Isley make a push to the lead? Gavin Isley running second. Porter up at the front of this field, up on the high side, is going to hang on to the lead for now. It's Porter, Isley, Hilton, and Josh Mbowski now side by side for third as Higbee down low is digging. Hilton on the outside going to get around Josh Mbowski, and now we can move towards the front alongside the 18 machine. Hilton out of 3 and 4. Not able to get alongside Isley. As we drop a little further back in the pack, you can see a whole bunch of lap traffic. A big jam up there. Matt DeRitter. Excuse me, not lap traffic necessarily, just traffic in general. As we got 5 cars, 6 cars under a blanket, all trying to find position on this racetrack. I said it was a wide racetrack, but it gets real narrow up off these corners when you're 3 wide with 2 other cars. Miller down low, Beagle down low. These 2 red cars are running right on the inside cushion, pushing their way towards the front of this field. Ryan Beagle get a great onboard shot here as we can see him down low, working that inside cushion. You can see the car start to climb the bank. A little bit of a banking on the inside of these corners for those drivers trying to work and widen out this track a little bit. Again, it kind of kicks you out though, so you don't want to be right on top of it pushing too hard because you might start to lose yourself some spots. Beagle alongside of DeRitter, Matthews, and Meitzler there as well. Pretty good vantage point of the lead group as well in front of these guys. Matt DeRitter now we're on board with. And caution is out on the racetrack. And I believe that's Dan Sider, I think, is going to be the main cause of this one. Here's Sider in the 84 car, and they're already wrecking in front of him. It actually starts with Dean Reynolds, and then looks like 4, 5 cars piling in. Bardsley's going to go over. Beef gets involved. Reiser there in the throwback car. Liam Daniels might have got a piece of it. And I think this may have started with maybe Miller and Miller and Reynolds getting together. We'll try to get a replay to see and confirm. Here it is now. On the low side, you can see the red car of Miller. Reynolds up on the high side down the straightaway. And yeah, Miller just ran out of real estate there. Thought he could squeeze that car in. And he takes out Reynolds and just nowhere to go for Sider, Reiser, Corby Daniels, Zach Bardsley. 4, 5, 6 cars involved after that one. Travis Miller just ran out of room. Maybe thought Reynolds was going to get on the gas a little bit faster and that he could slide into that hole, but it wasn't quite there for Travis Miller. And we are under yellow and a lot of cars banged up because of that one. Up at the front on the restart, we're going to have Jamie Porter and Gavin Isley. Porter's going to have to work pretty hard. Gavin Isley, besides Brandon Plank, has probably been the fastest man in the series all season long consistently. He's led a lot of laps, had races that he probably should have won, races that got away from him one way or another. And Isley comes into the points leader, and he's actually extended his points lead a little bit so far on the night thanks to Brandon Plank's issues in the heats and Gavin Isley having a pretty consistent run in his heat. A 4-point advantage, not the biggest of margins, but any points that you can pick up and gap between yourself and Brandon Plank, it might come in handy. As green flag back in the air, and you can see Jamie Porter just point that thing as soon as he gets to the straightaway and drives off. Hilton with a great run on the low side. See the slow car of Reynolds coming back onto the racetrack in front of that group of race cars. Porter leads. Then it's Isley. Hilton now under fire from Higbee, who's working down low in the 97. Josh Mbowski up on the high side. Joe Matthews there, and the big dog, Ryan Beagle. Good racing at the front of this pack as 2 distinct lines. Look at this. Oh, a little bit of contact. That could have been big. Joe Matthews had an incredible run into the corner and tagged Cody Higbee just a little bit. That could have got real ugly amongst some top contenders in this one, as Joe Matthews now going to drop back a little bit. He's fallen into the clutches of DeRitter. Miller up there as well, trying to move forward around the outside of Matthews. Porter continues to lead. 3 wide there. That got a little bit hairy as Josh Shimbowski looked a little bit sideways, bouncing off Beagle. Almost a little bit of contact there. These guys are certainly slicing and dicing, looking for real estate up at the front of this field. Contact, DeRitter's in the wall, and he is going around all kinds of sideways up on the high side of this racetrack, and we're going to be going back yellow for sure, as that was a big one inside the top 10. DeRitter, that was brewing for laps, maybe 3, 4, 5 laps even, as it got real racy at the front. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened here. Brandon Plank, look at him up inside the mix here, as he's going to get a little bit of a tap there from Matthews up off the corner. Plank does a great job staying off Meitzler, but into the corner here, Plank slides up the racetrack, and he gets a little piece of DeRitter. DeRitter goes around. Berger's going to get a piece of it. Then DePetro. Daniels gets involved, and I believe the 8 car of Reiser also with a little bit of damage in that one. Could have been much bigger, but tight racing at the front of the field leads to another caution as we at Brandon, I didn't even think to check where Brandon Plank was running, and he was inside the top 10 and gets a little bit of help there as we once again we're going to get a great onboard here from my pal Travis Cunningham, and you can kind of see cars sliding up in front of him. He sees the trouble, and wow, look at that from Travis. The C's part in front of him, and he's able to drive away unscathed as DeRitter's car was going airborne on the right side. Another car bouncing low, and Travis Cunningham does a great job to avoid that one. And trying to count the cars there, but I think Travis might be, if not inside the top 10, just outside of it here on this restart. 12th for Travis Cunningham on the restart. It pays to survive these wrecks. It really does, especially at a place like Knoxville where you do have the room for some accident avoidance. Getting ready to restart here again. Gavin Isley and Jamie Porter. What does Isley have for Porter on this one? Another good jump from Porter. Man, he has these restarts dialed. Jamie Porter, the pistol, fires off to the lead once again. Down low, Ryan Beagle digging the big dog, trying to find a way around. Porter up on the outside. Isley down low, now nosing ahead in that 18 car. Can he keep the power down up off the corner? Into 3 and 4. He'll sail it in on the inside. Porter pushing the barrier, almost touching the big board there with the rear end. Good racing amongst the front two. Good racing throughout this top 10 as they're still side by side, rows and rows deep after the restart. On the inside, Gavin Isley. Upstairs, Jamie Porter. Ryan Beagle there in third. Josh Shimbowski is fourth. Higbee trying to make it a 3-car battle for third with the 97 machine, but nowhere for him to go right now. He's going to continue to ride in the tire tracks of Josh Shimbowski. Porter on the outside. Isley downstairs still. Good run into the corner there from Isley. Can he make the clearing pass up off the corner? Sure seems like he gets close to being able to do it, but not quite the drive off that he needs, especially on the low side of 3 and 4. He can sail it in there, but driving off Jamie Porter, and as I say that, there he goes. Gavin Isley to the lead. Now Porter, he switches to the low line now, and he'll ride right in the tire tracks of the 18, looking to see if Isley slips up and makes a mistake. Porter's going to get a piece of him. Oh, that could have been big. Porter backs out of it, but that's going to allow Josh Shimbowski around. So the top 2 cars come together as Jamie Porter was trying to dig just a little bit too deep on the low side, gets a piece of Gavin Isley. Isley's going to drop back a little bit through the field. He's down to third, while Higbee and Josh Shimbowski inherit the top 2 spots. Up on the high side, you can see the 88 of Josh Shimbowski, fastest in pre-race practice, fastest in qualifying. Didn't quite have the speed in the warm-up, as now they're 3 wide for the lead. Shooting the gap is Cody Higbee. Higbee downstairs. He's going to try to go with the slide job to the front. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can. 3 wide still for the lead. Great racing from these. Oh, wow. Nope, that's not going to be survivable. Or maybe it is. I can't believe they're still green. How did Josh Zimbowski keep that on all fours? I thought for sure that 3 wide, yeah, we're yellow now, but I'm not 100% sure that didn't happen a little bit further back in the pack as our leaders came together big time. Josh Zimbowski was basically around. We're going to wait to see exactly what the caution was for there, but wow, what racing from our front field tonight. The top 10, top 5 in particular, has been dynamite racing all night long. Just watching Liam Daniels a little bit further back in the pack. I'm not sure if maybe the Josh Zimbowski stack up didn't cause something towards the back of this pack, or maybe the race director called it as, like I say, Josh Zimbowski was pretty much spun. We're going to get a replay here of the front field. Look at Josh Zimbowski's going to cut to the middle. Isley's downstairs, and Higbee up on the high side. It's just trying to hold on to his line. Power down from Josh Zimbowski. They get a little bit of contact, and right there, this is where I thought it was going to get big. Isley almost turns it. Plank almost runs over the 88 machine, and he almost gets airborne. And then the save of the century. That may have led to the yellow. That might have actually been what our yellow was for there. But wow, Josh Zimbowski did a great job hanging on to that race car, and Isley did a great job to not completely run him over as the front 3 were going for it. We're not even at the end of the race here, guys. We gotta pace ourselves just a little bit. I need to pace myself. I mean, I got my pal, my co-host Joe Donahue in my ear producing this show, and the two of us are just wanting to scream to each other, I think, over what we're witnessing right now. Let's reset things at the front of the field. Cody Higbee is your leader still after surviving a little bit of contact there with Josh Zimbowski. Ryan Beagle, the big dog, is up to P2. Joe Matthews, he's back in the mix in P3. Then it's the 45 of Jamie Porter. Brandon Plank up to 5th. Green flag back in the air. Great restart from Higbee. He's going to gap the field by a couple car lengths on that inside line. He goes right back to the outside. And look at Jamie Porter, maybe learning some lessons from Gavin Isley, who took the lead from him downstairs. Now Porter running the low line, trying to work over the big dog Ryan Beagle for 2nd position. Matthews right in his tire tracks. Plank falling back into the clutches here of Miller. Now Matthews is going to get passed by Plank. So at the front, it's Higbee. Beagle and Porter side by side for 2nd. And then the battle's on behind them for 4th position. Good racing amongst the top 5 once again as we work lap 41 of 60. Less than 20 to go here from Knoxville on the BRPtv iRacing series. Out front, Higbee. A little bit calmer now as Porter trying to work the low line, but hasn't been able to get alongside Beagle. Beagle hasn't been able to keep pace with Higbee, who is continuing to run out front in this one. Hilton now in the 3 cars up to 4th. He's trying to make it work, and I believe we are under yellow again. As you can see, the front runners begin to slow here. I thought the last time they drove underneath the flag stand, I saw a yellow flag wave, and we'll see if we can get a replay and confirmation on what happened in this one. Still waiting confirmation. Not 100% sure what happened on that caution necessarily either. But either way, we are going to be lining them up and re-racking them with about 15 laps to go in this one. It's going to be a 15-lap shootout. Higbee out front. Then it's Beagle. Jamie Porter. Can Jamie Porter get back up into the mix of this one? Adam Hilton He's been fast all night, kind of sneaking up into the top 5 here. Had a quiet night, trying to keep his nose clean. Brandon Plank, of course, started shotgun on the field in this one. 22 cars in the field. And he is up to 5th in search of win number 4 to start the season in the BRP iRacing series. Big thank you again to everybody who's tuned in live to watch this one. We are in for a treat. It's been a fantastic 40-some-odd laps so far. I can only imagine what the final stretch of this race is going to deliver to us. Higbee, Beagle, Porter, Hilton, Plank, and Matthews, your top 6 on the restart. Good start again from Higbee. Again, that low line really prevailing on the restarts, as now you can see Higbee working the magic. And speaking of working the magic, here comes the pistol. Jamie Porter fires off great once again, trying to find a way around Beagle. Side by side for second behind the leader. They're both going to go down underneath the racetrack and maybe pull even with the leader off the corner. Can't do it. Porter not able to clear Beagle. Into 1 and 2 now. Much better corner there for Porter, and he's going to slide up in front. Almost clear of Beagle, but he gives him a little bit of room as we work lap 47 in this one. Beagle going to go for the crossover move. Now he goes to the inside line. Driver searching for line, searching for grip, banging it up against the board. So close on the high side was Porter that time into the corner. Higbee out front. Then it's Porter. Beagle. A little bit of contact there as Hilton gets into the back of Beagle, and that is going to cause a big one. One car flipping wildly. I believe that is the Hilton machine. We'll get eyes on it. Yes, it is. Adam Hilton inside the top 5, and he goes for a wild ride after running over the back of Ryan Beagle. We'll get the replay here, and you can see it. Porter up on the high side, then Beagle's going to try to fall in line behind him. Hilton's got a good head of steam here. We're going to go on board with Adam Hilton as they're working into 3 and 4. And right here, Beagle slides up the racetrack, just nowhere to go for Hilton, who's already standing on it. And once he gets a piece of that guardrail, he's going for a tumble. You do not want to be staring at the sky, as we got almost pretty much a gyro cam thanks to the iRacing tech there. But wild ride for Hilton, who was having a great run inside the top 5 as we were approaching 10 laps to go in this one. And that is going to be a big damper on what was a pretty successful night for the 3-car. Restacking this one with Cody Higbee out front. Once again, going to be starting from the inside line. Jamie Porter on the outside had great restarts when he was the leader, but he was starting from that inside line as well. And that just seems to be the place where when you're coming to green, you want to be. Higbee and Porter on the restart. And don't look now, but Brandon Plank picks up another position. He's up to 4th. How about Travis Miller up to 5th? Gavin Isley, after the contact, has worked back inside the top 10, as well as Tyler Joshambowski. They're 7th and 8th. Lots of cars to keep an eye on. Lots of fast drivers at the front of this field after pretty much another great start from Cody Higbee. Really impressive stuff from that inside line. And then he goes straight to the outside, but here comes the big dog, Ryan Beagle. 9 laps to go in this one. Large majority of this race is already over. Comes down to a shootout with less than 10 laps to go. Who's got something for Cody Higbee? Oh, Ryan Beagle gets into Brandon Plank there, as drivers really not giving an inch now with less than 10 laps to go, 8 laps to go in this one. Beagle and Plank come together. Beagle on the low side, trying to fight back alongside Jamie Porter for second. Everybody chasing Cody Higbee, who is out front now by multiple car lengths. Joe Matthews, he's up on the high side. Gavin Isley working over him. Travis Miller down low working over Brandon Plank. Josh Ambowski gets a little piece of that inside curbing, and he bounces around. Good racing amongst the top 10. Plank makes a desperate move there, trying to get alongside Beagle. Can't make it stick. Matthews and Miller go side by side. 6 to go. Matthews to the inside of Plank. Isley and Miller. Beagle all over the back of Porter, but everybody chasing Cody Higbee, who is out in front of this one. Tight racing there again. It's Isley going for a wild ride down the straightaway. Wow, flipping wildly into the corner. Pretty much everybody's going to avoid him, though, as we get a caution with 5 laps to go. Trouble for the point leader. Massive trouble for the point leader. He was well inside the top 5, and you can see him. We're going to get a little bit of a replay to see what exactly happens here. 3 wide in front of him, Matthews in the middle, Miller down low, and then it's Brandon Plank up on the high side. And just looks like maybe Matthews gave Isley a bit of a squeeze there, but I'm not 100% sure how exactly that happened. Isley must have been a little bit off the wall. This one car comes by and just barely kisses Gavin Isley there. It was strange because it didn't look like Matthews really made contact with Plank all that much. But then Isley, when he gets a little bit of help from Matthews, just goes flipping wildly. And that is not what the point leader wanted to have happen here tonight. Well inside the top 5, running well, has had contact while battling for the lead, falls back, works his way back inside the top 10, trying to bust into the top 5, and now what was a great night for Gavin Isley gone completely awry. Up at the front of the field, does anybody have anything for Cody Higbee? Once Higbee got out in front of this field, he's been pretty much unbeatable. Gapping second place by multiple car lengths. Jamie Porter now a single file restart. He's going to need the restart of his life here if he wants to challenge for the victory. It's Higbee, Porter. Going to be 2 laps to go. Green, white checker in this one. Higbee, Porter, Beagle, your top 3. Brandon Plank sits in 4th, looking for win number 4 on the year. Can he pull off what at this point would be a major upset to get by 3 very fast race cars in front of him in 2 laps? If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Brandon Plank. And what about Joe Matthews? Can he survive the chaos? 2 laps to go from Knoxville. Great start there from Porter. He's already to the inside as Higbee pushes to the outside. Slide job incoming. Can Porter make it stick? No, he can't do it. Higbee to the front. Down the straightaway. Higbee up on the high side. Porter's going to try to slide it in there once again. Can't make it stick to the inside. He's going to fall back into the clutches of Beagle, and he'll have to worry about holding on to second place as the white flag waves on the field. Jamie Porter looking for one more shot at Cody Higbee. Down the back straightaway. Higbee has about a car length. Into 3 and 4. Porter, can he make it stick? Beagle going for the slider as well. Down low, they're both chasing Cody Higbee, but out of the final corner at Knoxville, Cody Higbee grabs the checkers. He'll win it over Jamie Porter, and Ryan Beagle, the big dog, brings it home 3rd. Great race tonight in the BRP iRacing League from Knoxville. Cody Higbee, the first man not named Brandon Plank to capture the checkers in this 2022-23 season. Top 3 cars getting staged on the front stretch, and we'll get these guys up in the booth for a brief interview to talk about what was an exciting 60 laps of action from Knoxville. Let's start with Cody Higbee. We can see if we can get our winner up in the booth tonight. Cody Higbee, it's Jonathan Howe up in the BRPtv booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Talk to us about that drive, my friend. Pretty consistent night. You started 9th, and that was the lowest you ran all night. And then once you got to the front, you pretty much stayed out there and dominated. Talk to us about the speed once you found the front of the racetrack.
Yeah, I felt like I was never really that fast, but I wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I was just a top 10 car. I was pretty even, but I kind of got some breaks thrown at me there. So, I got pretty lucky, but it's always fun running with these guys.
Talk to us about the restarts, because you and Jamie Porter both had it really dialed in on the low side coming back to the green flag. You were able to gap cars, whoever was running to your outside there. Was it the low line in particular that was something special, or was that just you guys being on it tonight?
Yeah, the restarts are key here. You really got to time it good so you can get a good run down the front stretch because, straightaway speed is big here. So if you're in the brown on the straightaways, you're going to be a lot faster than the guy behind you. So when I saw Jamie was behind me, I knew he'd have a pretty good understanding of that. So yeah, he was right on me, and he threw a couple of sliders at the end there, and just want to thank him for running clean. It's always fun.
Yeah, that was a great battle there as you held him off. Just talk to us. You're sitting 10th in points coming into the night tonight. You're the first man not named Brandon Plank to win a race this season. What does that do for your confidence level in what has been a really, really competitive league thus far?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm confident I ran the 358 twice already too, so I feel like I have an upper hand on that. Them guys kind of ran big block the whole time here, so we'll see how it shakes out. It's at the end of the day when we're racing with guys like Brandon and Gavin and Jamie, it's always a good time.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Congratulations on the big win. Who do you want to thank for the drive tonight?
I mainly want to thank everybody that puts us on, Matt and Beef and all the broadcast crew, and you guys just do a great job. And I just can't thank everyone enough for letting me run this.
Congratulations. Cody Higby, the winner tonight from Knoxville. And up next, let's see if we can grab our second place driver, the pistol, Jamie Porter, who had a pretty great run. Jamie, you got a copy. It's Jonathan up in the TV booth.
I gotcha.
The pistol, buddy. And that was a great nickname for you tonight because on those restarts, you were dialed in, firing off. As impressive as pretty much anybody tonight. Talk to us about the drive and bringing it home second.
Yeah, it was good up until I hit the berm on the inside, running second to Gavin. I got into him a bit. I ended up locking up the brakes and losing 5-6 spots, I think. So I pretty much thought my race was over there. But the restarts were in my favor tonight, and I'm kind of happy they came out when they did.
Yeah, it was a lot of tight racing up there, holding off guys like Gavin Isley. You led 29 laps, probably your strongest run of the season thus far. So, where's your confidence level at right now after what was a great second place run tonight?
It's definitely going to carry momentum into next week. I think we're at Weedsport, which is I don't tend to run good there, so I'm hoping that finishing second here tonight's going to help. But it's always nice to be on the podium, but leading 29 laps, I kind of wish I was one spot up.
Yeah, for sure, we get that, but a lot to hang your head on. Hang your hat on tonight here. You can hold your head high, Jamie Porter. Great job. Who do you want to thank for the second place run?
All the sponsors for sure: Evergreen Thrift Store, St. Catharines Marina, Garden City Auto Detail, and Beef Esports, and all the guys that put on this league and the broadcast every week. It's a great group of guys, and couldn't ask for anything much better.
Jamie Porter brings it home second. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's catch up now with the big dog, Ryan Beagle, our third place runner, Mr. Consistency. Here he is now. Ryan Beagle, you got a copy?
Yep.
Ryan Beagle brings it home third. Ryan, you drove up from 11th, a pretty impressive run to get through the field. Just talk to us about a very steady night from you in the 84.
Yeah, it was a good night. Really, we kind of got lucky on a few of those restarts, being in the right lane and finding the grip when other guys were out of it. So passed a couple cars there and just held our position there at the end.
And talk to us about passing, especially through the top 10, where all you guys are so even, so competitive. And obviously, we saw multiple drivers maybe make a little bit of contact at different times and fall through the field, come back up through the field. Just talk to us about the level of competition that you saw in your battle up to the podium spot.
Yeah, that's pretty tough once you get in the top 10 like that. You're pretty much just waiting for a restart to find the right line and keep the momentum up to pass anybody. So it worked out for us tonight.
Congratulations on the great run, and Mr. Consistency. That is a good name for you. You sit third in points, and another solid night for you. Just talk to us about anybody you want to thank for the drive here tonight.
Yeah, just everybody puts this deal on. It's a lot of fun do this in the winter. No, might as well thank my sponsors on the Thunderstock, Ackland Insurance, RK Automotive, and APC Auto Parts.
Congratulations on the great run, Ryan Beagle. Mr. Consistency brings it home third. Ryan Beagle joining us now. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
What a night of racing it really was. I am out of breath, not just because I called this one solo, but just from all the action at the front of the field in particular. Tonight it was the top 10, in particular top 5, where a lot of our yellow flags were coming from, and a lot of big drivers who had a lot of success throughout this season so far, had themselves some issues, had to drive back up through them, and that'll definitely going to shake up the power rankings and the points as we get ready for a week of practicing, tuning up for Weed Sport next week as we are working the Dig Racing Products 75 from Weed Sport next Monday night. Thanks again to everybody who made this production possible. Big shout out to my production manager this week, normally my co-host, Joe Donahue, putting up all the graphics tonight. Let's take you through the unofficial results here before we get out of this one. Cody Higby, once again, your winner over Jamie Porter, Ryan Beagle. Brandon Plank, not able to get the 4th win in a row, but still brings it home with a very solid top 5 after starting shotgun on the field. Travis Miller, 5th. Joe Matthews in 6th. Tyler Joshambowski, fastest car overall early in the night, and he settles for 7th. Dylan Davidson, involved in an early incident, gets back up to 8th. Matt DeRitter settles for 9th. And how about the beef with the top 10? Corby Daniels brings it home in 10th. Jeff Sharp brings it home 11th in the 28th. Then it's Brian Berger. Travis Cunningham with a 13th place finish in the 90 ride. Adam Hilton, after that wild ride, he went 4 inside the top 5, settles for 14th. Dean Meitzler had himself a bit of an evening. Dan Sider, 16th. Pat Reiser, 17th. Liam Daniels, Dean Reynolds, and Gavin Isley round out your top 20. And then we see the new dad, Dave DiPietro, brings it home 10 laps down after being involved in a couple incidents, and Zach Bardsley had himself a pretty rough night, bringing it home 29 laps down in 22nd position. Great results, great racing. This is going to be one to go back and rewatch, one for the record books for sure from Knoxville. I'm pretty sure Knoxville lived up to the hype and delivered even more, and thankfully, we're going to be back here a little later in the season with 3 races to go. But next week, we're focusing on Weed Sport. Once again, the Dig Racing Products 75 is next Monday, December 12th. Join us live here on YouTube. Be sure to follow the show, BRPtv, BRP iRacing on Facebook and on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Keep in the loop with everything on this racing series. And a big shout out again to Dig Racing Products for coming on board for next week. Thanks again to Super Dirt Car Series, Creative Turnings, JAM Performance, MDR Designs, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show Podcast, 47 Technology, and RKR Russ King Racing, and everybody who makes this whole thing possible. For my usual co-host and my production manager tonight, Joe Donahue, I've been Jonathan Howe, and we will see you next week from Weed Sport.